There is a strange moment that happens when people talk about success, not when they fail, not when everything falls apart, but when things finally start working. The promotion comes, the salary increases, the office gets bigger, the title becomes more impressive, the email signature becomes longer, and yet something feels unexpectedly quiet, not peaceful, just quiet, as if a part of you expected fireworks, a transformation, a sudden arrival into a better life. Instead, you wake up the next morning and realize you are still the same person staring at the same ceiling. The same thoughts are waiting, the same worries, the same uncertainty. Only now, they are dressed in more expensive clothes. Corporate success is often described as a ladder, one step after another, a predictable journey upward. But nobody talks about what happens inside your mind as you climb, because the higher you go, the stranger the view becomes. At the beginning, success feels simple. You just want a job, a paycheck, a little stability. You imagine that financial security will remove anxiety from your life. And in many ways, it does. Money solves problems. It removes pressures. It creates options. But what people rarely realize is that solving one layer of problems often reveals another, a deeper layer, a quieter layer, one that has nothing to do with money. The first years feel exciting because everything is movement, new opportunities, new goals, new achievements. Your life becomes organized around progress, and progress is addictive. The human brain loves evidence of advancement. Every achievement triggers reward circuits. Every compliment creates a temporary emotional high. Every promotion feels like confirmation that you matter, that you are moving forward, that your existence is producing results. For a while, this feels incredible, until something subtle begins to happen. The rewards that once felt extraordinary become normal. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation, the tendency for humans to return to an emotional baseline after positive changes. The dream salary becomes your regular salary. The dream office becomes your regular office. The dream position becomes your regular position. The extraordinary slowly becomes ordinary. And so the mind creates a new target, another level, another achievement, another destination. Because if happiness disappeared this quickly, maybe the next promotion will finally create it. Maybe the next milestone. Maybe the next achievement. Maybe the next version of yourself. And so the chase continues. But something else is happening beneath the surface. Something much harder to notice. Success slowly changes how you relate to time. In the beginning, work occupies part of your life. Eventually, work begins organizing your life. Your schedule, your conversations, your priorities, your sleep, your relationships. Everything starts bending around productivity. The modern corporate world rewards availability, responsiveness, visibility, efficiency. The result is a strange phenomenon. You are physically present almost everywhere, yet mentally absent almost all the time. Dinner becomes an opportunity to check messages. Weekends become preparation for Monday. Vacations become temporary interruptions. The body is resting. The mind is still working. And because everyone around you is doing the same thing, it starts feeling normal. But normal does not always mean healthy. The average person now consumes more information in a day than previous generations encountered in weeks. Notifications, meetings, emails, messages, alerts, updates, endless streams of digital stimulation. The brain was never designed for this environment. It evolved to focus on immediate survival, not continuous psychological bombardment. When attention becomes fragmented for years, something important begins to erode. Stillness, the ability to sit quietly with your own thoughts, the ability to hear yourself. Many people discover this only when the distractions disappear, when the meeting ends, when the laptop closes, when the room finally becomes silent. Because silence often reveals things productivity can temporarily hide. Questions, doubts, loneliness, fear, a growing uncertainty about whether the life being built is actually the life being lived. At every level of corporate success, another contradiction emerges. The higher your value becomes professionally, the easier it becomes to neglect your value personally. Your calendar fills, your network expands, your influence grows, and yet meaningful connection can quietly shrink. Relationships require presence, attention, time, three resources that ambitious people often sacrifice first, not intentionally, gradually. A missed call here, a postponed dinner there, a friendship maintained through occasional reactions and emojis, a family conversation interrupted by another notification. Nothing dramatic, just tiny moments accumulating over years, until one day you realize you know more about quarterly targets than the people closest to you. Modern loneliness rarely looks like isolation. It often looks like busyness. A calendar so full that there is no room left for intimacy. A life surrounded by people, but lacking genuine connection. A network without belonging. A contact list without closeness. Humans evolved in tribes, small communities, face-to-face interactions, shared experiences. Today, many people spend more time communicating through screens than through direct human presence. The result is a peculiar emotional paradox. We are more connected than any generation in history, and yet loneliness continues to rise, because connection and contact are not the same thing. Visibility is not intimacy. Communication is not understanding. You can be seen by thousands and still feel invisible. You can receive messages all day and still feel alone. As success grows, another challenge appears. Identity. At first, your job is something you do. Eventually, it can become who you are. And when identity merges with achievement, every setback feels personal. Every failure feels existential. Every criticism feels like an attack on your worth. The line between professional performance and human value begins to blur. This creates a dangerous psychological trap because careers are unstable, markets change, companies restructure, industries evolve. The thing you build your identity around can disappear. And when it does, many people discover they have spent years developing a professional self while neglecting a personal one. They know how to perform. They know how to achieve. They know how to produce. But they struggle to answer a simple question. Who am I when nobody needs anything from me? Who am I when I am not working? Who am I when performance ends? These questions become louder with every level of success, not because success creates them, because success removes excuses for avoiding them. Eventually, many people arrive at a place they once dreamed about: the salary, the title, the recognition, the status, the life they promised themselves would feel different. And some discover a truth that is both uncomfortable and liberating. Achievement can improve your circumstances, but it cannot complete your identity. No promotion can tell you who you are. No company can define your purpose. No title can answer the deepest questions of existence. Those questions remain, waiting patiently beneath the noise, waiting beneath the notifications, waiting beneath the endless pursuit of more. And perhaps that realization is not depressing. Perhaps it is freedom, because it means your humanity is larger than your productivity. Your worth is larger than your performance. Your life is larger than your career. Success matters. Work matters. Achievement matters. But they were never meant to become substitutes for meaning. At the end of life, people rarely measure their existence in presentations completed, meetings attended, emails answered, or promotions earned. They remember moments, conversations, relationships, acts of kindness, people they loved, people who loved them, the things that made them feel human. Maybe the real challenge is not climbing the corporate ladder. Maybe the real challenge is climbing it without losing yourself along the way, to succeed without becoming consumed by success, to achieve without forgetting how to live, to build a career while still protecting a soul. Because one day, long after the meetings end and the titles disappear, only one question remains. Not how successful you became, not how much money you earned, not how impressive your resume looked, but whether, in the middle of all the striving, all the chasing, and all the becoming, you remembered to be human.